93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to 6 p.m. in Lincoln. My name is Chris Kolaravic. We got a new show. It's just started this month. Last week I had my girlfriend Emma Spence on. The week before I had my dad John Kolaravic on. And this week, I'm on here by myself. Don't have a guest. And this week I think I'm just going to talk about my story. I've been all over the country playing football. I grew up in Michigan. Been all over the country and all over the world actually, and just going to talk about kind of my story. And I'm going to start from the beginning. We still got the music going, or okay. I was just wondering how long that usually lasts. Like we could get the music going the whole time, just kind of freestyle on it or something. Yeah, right. So I'm here in studio. It's late October 2024. I'm retired from football this year. It's a weird feeling. I'd never thought that the transition out of it would be as difficult as it's been. I put so much of my time and energy and life into the game, and it gets done, and you don't really think about what happens to the athletes that you see playing on TV after they're done playing. You just don't think about what their lives are like afterwards, and it's just interesting to live through it, and it's difficult but beautiful at the same time because a new life is born and new missions are created and new paths are forged. So as I'm on this show, I just want to take a bit of time to kind of reflect and talk about how I got here and how I got to Nebraska and kind of my story. So it all starts in 1999, July 14th, 1999. My mother is actually from South Africa. She was born in Johannesburg. Whole family's from over there. And she immigrates when she's about 22 and meets my dad. They have some kids, and born in 99. And my dad was a businessman. He owned a couple companies growing up. Most recently a manufacturing company and now a real estate company. So they have me in 99. He, in that year, buys this billboard company. And so during that time, he's really stressed out about this company, and they're kind of raising me, kind of trying to raise me the best they can while they're creating this company. And I come out the womb, and I know I had a lot of energy. I just never sat still. Like from the day I was born, I just never really sat still. And I started getting older, and I just picked up every sport I could play. Like I was a big skier. Like I was always playing football. I would play, tennis, basketball, every sport I could get my hands on. I would start playing. Typically picked everything up pretty quickly. Should mention that I grew up in a small tourist town called Traverse City, Michigan, on the beaches in Michigan. So grew up in a small town. Mother was a physical therapist. Father was a businessman who had success later in life, but really had to struggle for it. And it was interesting watching him do that my whole life. So as I'm growing up, I've got all this energy. Like I can't sit still. I mean, I can't sleep. Like I'm sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night my whole life. Like can't get myself to fall asleep at night. So I'm up late at night. I'm playing my Nintendo, or I'm reading this book or that book, especially Harry Potter. I read Harry Potter all the time. I was always reading Harry Potter or watching movies. And just playing sports. Like I would just play sports all day. I would just go in the backyard and throw the football around. I would go shoot hoops. I would go skiing, like always playing sports, always using my body, always using my mind, just like a hyperactive kid. And you know how the school system is, they kind of try to take that hyperactivity out of you. You get a kid that's always up and busy and moving, and the school system wants you to sit in a desk all day and not do anything. So as I started getting older, it was kind of figuring out how to keep that energy about me while having to sit in a desk all day. So I get to middle school, and I'm kind of coming into my own a bit, athletically at least. I'm playing quarterback on the football team. I'm running track. I'm doing all these things, and I was really my big thing was I was a skier. So my 7th and 8th grade year, I went to the Junior Olympics for skiing, slalom and giant slalom around the poles, you know. Um, so where I was from, there wasn't very big hills. So the hills that I would go on, they had these instead of chairlifts, how it normally is chairlifts when you're going up a ski hill, it's a tow rope instead. So I would grab onto like a literal rope and get dragged up the hill, and we would go up and down and ski all day. And that was a lot of my like foundation for the athleticism that I had built later on in my life. So I started with these tow ropes, and by doing that, I think it created like a natural side to side athleticism and leg strength because I was doing this all day every day. But I spent really a lot of middle school and before middle school doing that and getting really good at skiing. So football wasn't even really my main sport until I get to by 8th grade. And you know, my whole childhood, I would go to the big house. I would go to Spartan Stadium because I grew up in Michigan. I would go to these big stadiums. I think I went to Notre Dame once as well. And I would see these stadiums, and it just blew my mind what was going on in these stadiums. There's so many people, and I thought to play a game in front of that many people would just be life changing. Like I didn't. It was indescribable to sit in the stadium, but like to watch the guys down there and to think like they're really playing football, they're playing a game in front of this many people. Like I need to do that. Like I need to figure out how to do that. And this is like my whole childhood. I'm trying to figure out how do I get down there? How do I figure out how to get to the point where I'm playing down there? And I think it was around 8th grade when I was pretty heavy into the skiing thing. I was like, look, there's no way I can go down there and play football at that level if I don't fully dial in and buy into being a football player. So in 8th grade, I sat my whole family down in the living room and I said, "Hey, look, I wanna go play football. I wanna go play professionally and in college. I wanna do this for a long time, and, I wanna do everything in my power to go do so. So I'm gonna quit this other sport that I kinda like, but I'm ready to be done with." So I quit skiing and decided to do football. And I didn't really know what position I was gonna play. I didn't really know what I was gonna do, but I was just like, "I wanna play down there, and I'm gonna kinda let it sort itself out as I go." And I just had this big goal in mind, and I let the little details kinda sort themselves out as I went, which is kinda how I've always operated. My mind really thinks in big picture ideas. My mind thinks in overall, um, overall schemes and not just little details. I tend to gloss over the little details and figure them out as I go. So with that, I decided, "Hey, I'm gonna go play in a big school, and I'm gonna kinda figure out how to get there as I go." And as it so happens, freshman year, had it, I played on JV. So you're not doing very well. You're on JV. I played a little bit of defensive back. I played a little bit of running back, like, had some touchdowns, had some picks, but it was JV. So then going into my sophomore season, I was like, "Wow, I really need to change something here, like, this isn't working." So, I find this guy, his name is Ryan Mulaney, who became, like, probably my biggest mentor in my life, and he he was just somebody that we hired to me and my family, we hired to help me train, who taught me how like, the basics of how to diet for football, how to get bigger, how to get stronger, how to get faster, how to study the game, how to understand what's going on, how to understand football, and how to be great at it and how to be good at it. He was a former NFL player, had played at Colorado University, and then played for the Minnesota Vikings and the Bears. So he taught me the basics of how to train and how to think about becoming a good football player. And I met this guy, and I swear to God, I started calling this guy like probably 3, 4 times a week. I was just every week, almost every day, calling this guy, just trying to get advice, trying to figure out because I was from a small town. Like nobody from where I was from really knew, and my dad didn't, and my family didn't. So nobody from where I was from really understood how to get to where I wanted to go. So I saw somebody who did, and I was just trying to get as much out of him as I could. I was trying to, hey, can we watch extra film? Like, can you help me with this workout? What kind of stuff can I be doing here? How does this look? What can I do here? And I just got obsessive about it. Like, I got obsessive about what I was putting in my body. I got obsessive about how I was working out. I quit all the other sports, so all I did was think about football and train football all day, every day. So I started hitting the weight room really hard. My sophomore year, I blew up from about 150 to probably 185. So not a huge weight gain, but like a good 30 pounds. And I played okay. They moved me to Mike linebacker of the varsity team. I was the cornerback my freshman year on the JV team. And then all of a sudden, like I locked in off season, wanted to be great at it. And I all of a sudden became the Mike linebacker of the varsity team as a sophomore. So I'm out there. I'm not playing very well, but I'm out there, um, kind of figuring things out. And then I knew that going in, I didn't have any real interest from colleges after that year because I wasn't playing crazy well. I didn't really know what I was doing out there. So I knew that going into my junior and senior year, I needed to step it up big time. So I did. I went even harder at the workouts I was doing. I got a lot bigger. I got to probably like 215, 220, and I was, a force out there, big, strong, fast. I spent the whole off season training, getting ready for this. And realistically, I thought in my head, and this is kind of how my trainer had explained it to me, was coming from the school that I was at, it would have been really hard to get out of there if you're not completely dominating what you're doing. Like, you have to stand out in a way that's special. So I figured, okay, it's not really gonna help me to go play all these other sports because I need to be as big looking as I can be. So I got my muscles all like I'm eating a bunch of food, getting big, and then I'm also getting fast because I'm doing all these sprints and I'm not wasting time doing other sports. So just so that I could look on film as dominant as possible, because that was like the marketing strategy that we had came up with. Because I just knew coming from that small school and not really knowing anybody or having any connections to get to a college, that was just, you have to really stand out. So that was my strategy to stand out. So I get to my junior year, I'm all ready to go. The first couple games I'm playing pretty well, I'm making some plays, and then all of a sudden in the third game I break my collarbone, and I just think it's over. Like, I'm leaving the game within a sling, and I'm like, "Man, I don't think I'm gonna make it to college football. Like, I really don't think I'll make it." My dreams felt dashed. I felt like I was really ready to go and wanted to go make happen what I wanted to happen, and all of a sudden I got an injury. And then it was like, "Okay, what do I do?" So I get surgery on it, and then, sit out the next 8 weeks. I'm ready to come back the whole time, but I've gotta sit out this with this injury thing. And this was the f I guess this was the second injury I had, but the first, like, real football injury. I had a skiing injury. I broke my leg from skiing. In 6th grade, I snapped my tibia jumping off a cliff when I was skiing. So, I get to my junior year, and I got this broken collarbone, can't play football. Real broken up about it because I knew junior year, you gotta have some good film, play well so you can get to college. Extremely frustrating situation. So, I come back, and it's the 2nd playoff game that I come back for. Collarbone's healed up, I'm ready to play. They throw me out there, and I have a pretty good game. We kinda dominated the team we were playing. I didn't play the whole game, but, had some good plays. Then we go out the 3rd game, same thing, we kinda dominated the team. Then we're going into the semifinal game to get to Ford Field. You play at the Lions Stadium if you're in Michigan high school football. So you play the semifinal game trying to get to Ford Field. So we go to that game, and we're playing this team that's won, I think they had won 46 straight games. Like, they had not lost a game for 46 straight games. And our quarterback had got hurt the game before, our running back had got hurt the game before, and we were in a bad spot as a team. Like, we probably shouldn't have we probably shouldn't have even been in the game. Like, we had a lot of guys injured, especially the quarterback position. That was the problem. So I go into this game, and I know, like, okay, I got to step up in this game. Like, this is going to be a big statement game. All of a sudden, we're up, like, I think we were up 3 touchdowns after the first half. I had 2 picks and a touchdown in the first half. And then they ended up coming back on us in the second half, beat us by, I think, 3 points. Heartbreaking game in the snow. I'll never forget that game. Crazy. Probably the best high school environment I ever played in, up in Northern Michigan. Um, I know the people of Nebraska don't know much about the state of Michigan football, but it's pretty the high school football up there is pretty intense. So, I, uh, I get done with my junior season, and I kinda spend the off season healing up, getting my body ready to go, and then senior year, I just wanted to put together some film. Like, I knew we would probably dominate as my school did. We would probably dominate most of the teams we played, so we did, and we would win these games like 30, 40, 50 to 0, something crazy like that. We really should have been playing better competition. It was a Catholic school, you know how it is with Catholic schools, and we were playing all these horrible teams, and so I just spent the year basically trying to get a highlight film together so I could get as good of a highlight film as I could, 'cause I went into the year without really any offers. Like, I had some walk-on opportunities and some smaller D2 offers, but I didn't have any big ones, and I knew, like, I would need some big plays. Like, I would need some, like, Sports Center type plays to get some offers going, so that's what I did. I spent the whole year basically trying to get offers, and, um, yeah, we ended up I think we lost in the semifinals again that year, but, um I did get some great film together and ended up kinda pulling some Big Ten walk-ons, and then I got some smaller Division I offers, and then so I'm kinda waiting because the bigger schools had told me like, "Hey, we're gonna offer you. We're gonna give you a scholarship. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there with you." And so I get to, like, January before signing day, and I'm basically just waiting for these guys to offer me because they said they would. And I believed them because I didn't know any better. Like, I was a kid that I didn't have any, like, anybody that told me how that game worked, that recruiting game. So I believed them. I thought they were gonna offer me, and nobody ever did. But there was a couple schools in January who came through with some full ride offers. One was Northern Iowa. So Northern Iowa comes through with a full ride scholarship in, like, mid-January. The coach calls me up and then invites me out for a visit, says, "Hey, we wanna bring you out here. We really like the film you put together. We like your attitude, and, we wanna bring you out here on a full ride." So I just accepted that scholarship, not knowing really what I was getting myself into. It was Northern Iowa and Cedar Falls and Waterloo area, which I had never really been to. I went on one visit, really enjoyed it, and thought, "Okay, like, they put some guys in the NFL, let's go try this out." And it was smaller Division I school, and honestly, that was one of the better decisions that I've made. Just kinda getting away. I'm glad I didn't go walk on at Michigan or walk on at Michigan State. I'm glad I kinda got away and got to, um kinda carve my own path and kinda figure things out away from where I grew up. So, I get to UNI. This would have been yeah, so I graduated high school in 2017, um, and I was just so dialed in on I'm gonna be a great football player from honestly the minute I left to go there. We had our high school graduation, I think, on June 6th, and our football workout started on June 4th. And the coaches there were like, "Hey, you can go to your graduation, we don't care." But I was like, "No, I'm coming to come train. Like, this is what I'm doing. There's nothing else in the world that matters to me besides I'm gonna come be a great football player." And that's what I did. So I just spent the next, because you go a year, you go those like that first summer I lived with Trevor Penning, who's now in the NFL. He was a first round draft pick. That was my first ever roommate at UNI. He was a first round draft pick. He got there, he was about 220 pounds when he got there, and now he's 320 starting for the New Orleans Saints. Crazy to watch that. They did that with a few guys over there at UNI, but so I go my first summer, just training, and then we get into the season. I'm playing okay in camp, and they say, "Okay, you're gonna redshirt." And it was probably a good decision, like, I was not ready to play. So, I go redshirt my first season. Second season, I'm going into it, and I'm mentally just dialed in on, like, I'm doing school, sleeping, eating, and playing football. That's all I'm doing. I'm just so mentally focused on I'm on my mission, on my goal of what I want. So, as I'm going along, we get to spring ball, and I've never really played like that will linebacker position. So I'm kinda trying to learn will linebacker. as I get into spring ball going into that that second year at UNI. So it'd been my redshirt freshman year. I was kind of trying to learn that linebacker position. And the hardest part to me was like when you're first trying to learn a position on defense, everything's happening so fast. Like nothing is making sense. You're lined up behind the line of scrimmage, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden the ball snapped and it's like there's just a million things going on at once. You can't see anything. Nothing really makes sense. It's just clouded up, bodies moving. And then as you start to get more reps, you start to see individual players moving and you start to see it moving a lot slower. So it took me like, you know, 10, 12 practices for it to slow down at all. Cause at first I'm basically tripping over myself. Like I'm getting mad at myself. Coach is yelling at me every day, like, why do you suck? Like, why do you like we brought you on a full ride. Like, why do you suck? Why can't you play? So I'm out here basically tripping over myself because I just don't know what I'm doing. Like I really didn't grow up playing inside backer. I didn't know how to play it. So I'm kind of figuring it out on the fly, playing against some Division I linemen. And I kind of start picking it up. And then by the time the spring game rolls around, I'm kind of starting to figure it out a bit. So the spring game rolls around and I get like 3 or 4 tackles for loss, play really well in the spring game. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I could play. I could do this. Like this whole spring ball, I'm like real down on myself. Like, man, I don't know if I'm any good at this. Like, I don't know if I could do this. This is hard. I didn't think it was going to be this challenging. So I get done with the spring game, kind of summer goes by. I'm still training hard, ready to play. And then the season kind of camp gets going. And by the way, this I should mention like this whole time I'm also pretty dialed in school because I was my original plan was I want to graduate in 3 years and transfer, but that's that's just in the background at this point. I'm really focused on football, but in the background, I'm taking extra credits. I'm doing 18 credits a semester, doing 18, 20 credits a semester, just locking in on school, trying to get that done. So I'm up late night doing school and I'm watching film. I'm doing as much extra as I can just because I have this goal of mine that I just want to go achieve. So we get to my redshirt freshman year of college, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to start. I'm going into this like the number 2 will linebacker, and midway through camp, the starting will linebacker gets a concussion. He ends up coming back, end of camp, but I kind of got an opportunity in scrimmages and things to prove myself and prove, okay, he knows what he's doing and he can play. So that's what I did. I kind of started picking things up, and I was still kind of like a bit undersized for that position and that level, but I was kind of picking things up. So I'm getting told we got to take a break here, but I'm gonna leave off on I'm at in my life. I'm kind of telling my life story. Gonna leave off at that fall camp of my redshirt freshman year, and I'll pick up there when I come back.
Sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant. 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
It's game. Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we are back. This is 6 p.m. in Lincoln with Chris Kolaravic. I'm telling my story today. I'm telling about how I grew up in Traverse City, Michigan, ended up where I'm at today. And where I'm at in my story right now is I'm at my redshirt freshman year at Northern Iowa. I'm playing for the Northern Iowa Panthers in Cedar Falls. Fun fact, Trev Albers is actually from Cedar Falls. Didn't go to Northern Iowa, but he's from there. So I'm in my redshirt freshman camp, and I'm kind of figuring things out, kind of still feeling like a fish out of water. I get to the first game, and they're like, all right, you're going to start. So we're going to Montana, and this Montana stadium it's an FBS stadium. Like, this stadium's a good, like, 35,000. You look it up, and they pack it every single game. So what was funny was they saw that I was a freshman starting, and their fans were heckling me more than I ever thought I'd get heckled. They were calling me a bum. They were telling me, like, you suck, all this stuff. And I never expected that, especially, like, it being my first away game, first game I ever played in, and I'm starting. So I'm playing on all the special teams, and I'm playing will linebacker in this game. And I'm like, man, I think I remember a funny moment where I said to my buddy, I was so nervous. Like, I was nervous because I just wanted to play well so bad. I think I said to my buddy, who's now the linebacker coach at UNI, I'm like, bro, hey, you got any Pepto-Bismol? Like, my stomach's all weird. Like, you got any Pepto-Bismol? And he's like, no, oh, you're good. Just play well. So I go out there, and, like, I made some tackles and made some plays, didn't really mess up very often. And I didn't have any big plays, but I also didn't have any big mistakes, which is kind of how you want it earlier in your career. You're just trying to get a feel for things, kind of feel out the game. And so that's what I did. And that game, we were down 25-0 at halftime. I think we ended up losing 24-25 or something like that. It was one of those crazy, crazy games. So I think we were down so much at half. The head coach, like, he mentioned that he was going to bench me, and it wasn't even that I was playing bad. It was just that we were down so much, and I was all nervous, like, oh, he's going to bench me. Ended up not benching me. We ended up coming back, having a good game, and then after the game, saying he thought I played well. So we play that game, and then we go into week 2, and we're playing Iowa. And I think I'm 18 years old at this point. I've never played in, like, Montana was the biggest stadium I've played in by far. This is the second college game I've ever played in. And, like, obviously the people in practice are not going to be anywhere near. I'm playing Noah Fant, TJ Hawkinson, Tristan Wirfs. I forget who their quarterback was at the time, but he was good too. So, and then I think Nate Sargent, number 8, was a good running back. So we go in that game, and we kind of know we're going to get messed up. Like, we kind of know. And I'm just trying to survive in this game. Like, I think I remember the snap count. This is the second game I ever played in. I'm 18 years old. I'm playing in Iowa Stadium, and I played 85 snaps of I'm playing 4 first-round draft picks. And it's like, there's only so much you can do as, like, an 18-year-old kid that's never played in that level. Like, I'm playing my ass off. Sorry. All right. Radio.
Yeah.
I'm playing hard, but yeah. So I came out of the game with 15 tackles, but I basically fell into them. Like, it was cool to look at on the stat sheet, but, like, I basically fell into these tackles. And then so we go into the next few games. We're playing Missouri Valley opponents, and honestly, like, it's a lot easier. I start getting a couple picks. I think by, like, game 5, I was leading the conference in tackles as a freshman. So I had the most tackles in the whole conference. 5 weeks have gone by. Then we go into week 6, playing South Dakota. I'm having a decent game. I'm making some plays. All of a sudden, my foot just snaps. Like, I goes into the ground, and the whole arch of my foot just breaks, ruptures it. And how I was like, I'm good. I'm going to keep playing. I just couldn't even run on it. So I leave the game on crutches, and I'm not really somebody that, like, accepts injuries. So I just told everybody, like, yo, I'll be back next week. I'm good. And everybody's looking at my foot like, dude, that thing is purple and like a balloon. You're not playing next week. I'm like, I'm good. So I go into next week, and obviously, like, I didn't play. And the doctors couldn't really figure out what was wrong with it. They thought they did, but they just told me it was a broken bone. You'll be all right. Things will be fine. You'll go in a cast for a bit and then come out of it. Season will end, and you'll come back the next season. So I go in a cast, and, you know, I'm still in this mentality of, like, even when I was injured, everything was football. Like, I would go in and do extra workouts. Like, I would sit there on the bike when I couldn't run, or I would do whatever. Even I would sit there, and they had, like, a underwater treadmill that I would go walk on for hours, or I would just go lift upper body, get big upper body. So I spent the off season trying to get my body, mind right, getting this thing healed. But I'm getting to like 4 or 5 months post injury, and it's just not getting better. Like it just keeps bothering me. I'm trying to run on it, and this thing is still a little bit purple, and it's still a little bit just not getting there. So I keep going to the doctor. I'm like, dude, this is just not getting better. So he says, okay, we're gonna send you to a specialist. So I go up to see a doctor that works for the Minnesota Vikings and show him my foot. And he's like, look, doctor kind of screwed up. Like this thing it's called the Liz Frank, which is where your tendon and your arch basically ruptures. So I had a really messed up foot basically. And I was pretty broken up about it because I was like, oh, if I had just gotten surgery 6 months ago, like I should have, I'd be fine now. But now it's like, I think at that time it was probably February or March. So I get surgery in March going into my sophomore season at UNI. And it's going to be tight. Like I know that the timeline is going to be tight going into the second year where I want to go out and dominate because this is my third year at the school. And my plan was, hey, I'm going to play
Midwest
3
Bank
years.
is
I'm going to play 3 years and go graduate and transfer. So I'm getting a little worried at this point. Like, am I going to be able to get back for the season? So I'm doing all the stuff. I'm watching a bunch of extra film because I know I'm not going to do much camp. I'm hitting the weight room extra. I'm getting bigger. Obviously still doing a lot of school at this point. So I go into camp and I'm not practicing, but I'm kind of taking mental reps, hoping this foot's going to get better. And it's kind of still bothering me, kind of still just not quite right. So I tell the doctor, like, hey, just take the screw out. I'm going to go play. Like if it breaks again. I just got to get the screw out. So he takes the screw out. Cause I just wanted to play. Like I didn't really care at that point. I wanted to risk doing it again just because I want to play that season. I was like, I can fix it after the season. I'll be fine. So I go and play this season. I think my first game was week 3 because the first 2 games I was still not quite right. My first game was week 3. We played Weber State. And this was one of the weirdest games ever because it was kind of rainy. Like nobody really wanted to be there. It felt like, but I came in the game and I think like within the first 3 plays, I had like a crazy. I put a move on this running back, sidestepped him and got a sack, and then I had another play that was a tackle for loss on the same drive, and I was like, okay, like let's go. I'm back. I think that week I won. That first week back, I hadn't even practiced one time. I won Conference Player of the Week that week. So I got done with that week, and I was like, okay. Like, let's go. The foot's good. Let's play. So the season kind of goes on. It's more of the same. Like I'm playing pretty well. Kind of surprising myself a bit because it was at this point, because before this, I put a lot of emphasis on practice and being very prepared and like, oh, I need to practice a lot because I'm not quite there with my game. My game needs improvement. I need to keep getting better. But when I had this foot thing, I wasn't practicing really. I was just going into games and playing. And I was playing better than I'd ever played before, which was kind of mind-boggling to me because I was always told like the more you practice, the better you are, and the more reps you get, the better you're going to be in the game. But that just wasn't what I was finding. I was finding like the less I practiced, the more I played well, which was very weird. So I would go in these games and just kind of go find the ball. And it was interesting. Like I think again, like the season before, I think I was like leading the conference in tackles per game. Had a pick or 2. And then we're playing midway through that season, we're playing Trey Lance and North Dakota State. And I break the foot again. And I'm like, this thing, I knew it. I knew the play. I did it. In that game, I stripped Trey Lance and returned a fumble to like the 3-yard line. And it was that same drive where I could just I felt the foot break again. And I didn't have the screws in and I knew it did it. And I was like, all right, I got a decision. Because the bone didn't break. It was just a ligament. And I'm like, I got a decision here. Like, do I say something or I just kind of limp it off and keep going? Because like I got goals I want to have. I got places I want to go. So I'm kind of figuring this thing out. And I just kind of bite my mouth guard hard and keep playing. And yeah, that was probably the most painful few next weeks of my life. Cause I mean, I would go to the game and I would be wearing a boot, and then I play the game, and then I put a boot on and leave, just to play the game. Because I mean, with football, like, you can't get back games. Like, there's so few. It's like you have to take advantage of the games you're playing. So I leave the game in a boot, and then so we ended up. I think we went to the semifinals against James Madison that year. Lost that game. That was a really good team. That coach is now coaching for Indiana, who is 8-0. Really amazing coach. We get beat there, but we go to the semifinals there. And, I get done with the season, obviously have another surgery because my foot's super, super messed up still. So I have another surgery, and, I'm at this point considering, like, hey, it's been 3 years. I'm graduating. Do I leave? Do I stay? This foot is still an issue. So I end up deciding, all right, I think it's probably going to be a good idea to play another season because I can get a full healthy year on a team where I have a lot of confidence, and we have a really good team too. So going into my junior year at UNI, so we're going to take a break here. We got one more segment left. I'm telling my story of my life, basically my football career, and I'm right at the end of my sophomore year, going into my junior year at UNI at Northern Iowa. So we're going to take a break right here, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Gentlemen, it's time to elevate your style with something from our men's jewelry and watch collection. Why not treat yourself to the ultimate in luxury? We've got an incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And we're back. This is Chris Kolaravic in studio on O Street in Lincoln, Nebraska at 6:47 p.m. We're talking, I'm just going through in this episode. I'm here by myself with the host, and I'm talking just my story, how I got to where I'm at. And I think I left off most recently where I was at Northern Iowa going into my junior year, and I had just gotten my third foot surgery. And I'm hurting at this point. Like, I'm 3 foot surgeries in 1 calendar year was taking a toll on my mental health. Like, I was hurting at this point. Just showing up to the stadium every day, having to go in there on crutches or on a scooter, not being able to walk. Like, it just takes a toll. Like, not being able to walk that's one of the hardest things I probably had to experience, especially physically, where it's such a different, like, your day just goes so differently when you can't walk. Like, making breakfast is horrible. Like, you have to go, like, you got crutches and you got to kind of grab the eggs and, like, kind of use your hands, or like, it's just hard. Like, it just makes everything more challenging. Like, you got to wrap the thing with a bag when you get in the shower. Going up the stairs sucks. Your arms are always tired. Like, it's tough. And you just don't have, like, the energy to you, because you got this cast on your foot and you can't walk. So it's taken a toll on me at this point, because I haven't been able to walk straight for like over a year. And I think at that point I was like, okay, I know I want to stay at UNI for another year, because I want to just be able to reap the benefits of spending all this time rehabbing, and I want to just be on a great team and play with these guys that I've come to really enjoy being around. So going into this junior year at UNI, we were the number 2. You can look this up. We were the number 2 ranked FCS team in the country. We had 5 NFL players. We had like 4 or 5 guys that transferred up to Division I FBS Power 5. Like, we had a team. And I know I had mentioned earlier how I had thought about potentially leaving, maybe going to a bigger school, but at that point I said, okay, I need to stay. This is something special. So then something crazy happened, as we know. So I go on spring break, and I get back from spring break, and we never go back to class. And I'm talking about COVID here. We get back from spring break, and they tell us, hey, this thing called coronavirus, this coronavirus is taking everybody out. We can't go to class. So everybody was pretty excited at the time. It's like, oh, let's go. We don't have to go to class. You know, I think at first they said, all right, we're gonna cancel class for like a month. And that was dream scenario as a 20-year-old college kid. It was like, this is awesome. Like, so we just started training. We were still doing workouts, not going to class. It was the best case scenario. We get a month down the road and they say, hey, we're canceling school. Like, done. And everybody said, whoa, and this is getting serious. So then we get through the summer, and rumors are starting to come up like, hey, I don't know if we're going to play this season. Like, this is getting dicey here. And we're working out we set up a whole garage gym in one of our houses, and they had full racks with weights and dumbbells and everything. And we're going to this weight room, and we're getting huge every day. We're just lifting, eating, and pretty much hanging out with the teammates all day. Not really doing school, not really going to like set up workouts. We're just kind of hanging out and doing workouts. And so we're kind of like, is this season going to get canceled? And we're looking at each other like, hey, was this? And then you get to it and it gets canceled. And that was one of the craziest. I think things really got real for people when football got canceled. I think in general, the country went, oh, like this is actually happening. Like, football, like, we're not playing football games. Like, this is wild. So the FCS season, I know in the FBS, like at Nebraska, they still played the season, there was just no fans. At the FCS level, we literally didn't play a snap. Like, there was no football. They moved it to the spring. And I think when they moved it to the spring, we had 3 guys, maybe 4, declare for the draft. And so it was at that point when I started evaluating, like, hey, do I want to play in the spring or do I want to just get out of here? And I talked to my family. I thought about it, and I was like, I think the best move here is to transfer, because I thought there was a good chance that I was going to get an extra year of eligibility because our season had gotten canceled, which I did. So in that season of when we should have been playing, I think I went in the portal when it was October. So I go in this portal, and this portal had been a thing for like 6 months. Like, I didn't really know what was going on. Like, this portal was brand new. Nobody knew what was happening. Like, guys would go in the portal, and like, I didn't even really like advertise or tweet about it or put it on social media because it just wasn't really acceptable at the time. Like, some people were mad at me. Like, people didn't really know what I was doing. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew I had already knew I wanted to grad transfer, and then this portal kind of came a thing. So I go in the portal, and I don't really know what it is. And I kind of sit there for a couple of days. I get hit up by some smaller schools, some smaller Division I schools, like some Group of 5 schools. I get hit up by Michigan State. I get hit up by Michigan, and then all of a sudden, Chinander and Frost call me from Nebraska, and I didn't know these guys. Like, I had heard of Scott Frost, but I didn't really watch Nebraska football a bunch. And these guys called me and they say, "Hey, we want you to come play for us." I was like, "Okay, well." The strategy that's always worked for me, and especially worked at UNI, was to go where they want you. Go where they're saying, "Hey, we want you to come here, and we want you to be successful," and they offer you with earnest. It's not, "Oh, we gotta figure some things out. We don't know if we actually want you to come. Would you walk on?" No, it was like, we want you to come here. So because of that, I committed like within the next couple of days because it just made the most sense. Like, I was in Iowa, quick move down to Nebraska, 4 hours away. Made a lot of sense. So I think I committed to Nebraska the day before their Ohio State game in 2020. So it would have been October 2020. They were playing Ohio State. The next day I committed. So that was the first time where I felt like I was on the map in football. Like, I tweeted it out. People were talking about it. That was the first time where I felt like, oh, I'm actually this is real. Like, this is happening. Because I was at UNI and it felt like I was in kind of a different world because they don't really play on TV that often, and like not a lot of like old friends, family were watching. So I was just kind of out there. And then all of a sudden, like, I commit to Nebraska, and I'm getting like reporters' phone calls and all this. It just felt real to me. And I was fired up about it. I was going to play at Nebraska. Like, I was telling my family, like, "Hey, I'm going to come to every game. Like, this is awesome. Like, this is super exciting." So I kind of finish out hanging out basically with my old teammates, and we're just lifting until about December. My foot at this point is feeling really good. It's feeling ready to go. No issues with it whatsoever anymore, which I'm really happy to be over the injury thing because I've had the collarbone at this point. I've had a few foot. I've been struggling with the injury thing. So to get to Nebraska and feel completely healthy I was overjoyed. So I remember I go to Nebraska in January because I enrolled the spring semester rather than the fall because I wanted to get in and get a feel for it, do spring ball. So I enroll in the spring semester, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. This is it. I mean, it's Nebraska, but then I get there and I see it, and I'm okay. We had some pretty good competition at UNI. We were playing North Dakota State, and we had a bunch of NFL guys. So I was like, okay, we could do this. So I think I get there and we start workouts up. We start going to class. By the way, at this point, I'm doing the degree I did. I got into the MBA program, the Master's in Business Administration. So I did my MBA while I was in Nebraska. It was all online. And the all online thing helped. Like, it helped me with football. It helped me give me more time to train and everything. So So I get to Nebraska. How much time we got left here?
Just a few minutes, but
Just a few minutes?
Yeah, till Emma shows up, really.
All right. All right. Trying to think because I got a lot of stuff to talk about after that. I'm not going to finish the story by the time I'm done with the show. Let's clip it there. I can keep talking. Let's talk for a second about these Nebraska Cornhuskers. I was expecting a blowout this weekend. I'll be honest with you. I was expecting, after losing 56-7 to Indiana and then going into Ohio State after a bye, like Ohio State was off a bye and losing to Oregon, I was thinking we were about to get smoked. Not to be pessimistic or anything, but I think most of the state.
A lot of people did. Yeah.
I think a lot of the state was, the line was like 32, I think, or 28, 32.
It was like 25.5, but.
Oh, you don't see that very often, that high of a line in a conference game. So I'm expecting us just to get smoked. And we come out and it's 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. And I'm like, oh, we might be playing here. Like defense kind of came to play. Overall, I think Nebraska fans should be extremely frustrated with the offense. It's not a good look of what's going on. They're throwing a lot of, the amount of screen passes is crazy. You got a guy like Dylan with the arm that he has. I know he's a freshman, but you can't be scared of him being a freshman. You got to let him let it rip and make some mistakes if he's going to make some mistakes. Like we're just throwing screen pass after screen pass after screen pass, getting stuffed on the goal line. But honestly, I really thought we played better than Ohio State did, which is crazy to say. If you would have told me that a week ago, I'd have told you were crazy. But I thought we played better than Ohio State did. And I'll say this. I don't think there's any way we lose to UCLA. No way.
I like it. I like the confidence, at least there. It does. It's weird. It feels like, though, I was like going through it. It kind of feels not like the Nebraska won. But it feels like you won the weekend that they didn't lose.
It was a win.
Yeah, it felt like a win.
To not lose by more than a touchdown to Ohio State after we looked against Indiana. Like, we can talk about how we want to win all we want, but that was a win for the state of Nebraska, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And it's the second week in a row on national television.
Exactly.
Second time you're highlighted, and they reversed what the image they kind of had the national had of them.
No question.
Yeah, we could wrap up the show there, though, as Emma Spence is ready in the wings, ready to roll. So, Chris, thanks again, and we'd love to hear more from you next weekend.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I'll probably have a guest on, but as I go, I'm gonna some episodes where I don't have a guest on, I'm gonna tell a little bit more of that story, or maybe tell some different parts of it. And next week we're having a guest on. Not sure who it's going to be yet, but it should be a fun one.
All right. We'll come up with Emma Spence coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Thanks, man.